to the Cinementalists. Noun, plural. Definition, those whose love for movies runs so deep, they can't help but do a podcast about them. Hosted by Colton Robertson and Joseph George. Hello everybody and welcome in to the Cinementalists, and today we conclude our celebration of LGBTQIA Pride Month with The Handmaiden. It was released at Cannes on May 14th, 2016. It was written for the screen by Park Chan-wook and Chung-seo-kyung, based on the novel by Sarah Waters and directed by Park Chan-wook. I am Colton Robertson. I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you, and we're crossing the last one off the list here. We had 5 movies to cover in Pride Month. This is the 5th. The Handmaiden, it was one that I set out from the very get-go to be like, yep, that will be one of them, and it was another first watch for you. How are you feeling about it?
Oh, I'm kind of glad you saved this one for last. This feels like the perfect one to end it on. For whatever reason here, and it was...
Well, spoilers, spoilers, it has the happiest ending.
Let's see, going back through... not good, and not good. Wow, so
it might actually be the only happy ending,
It's the only one you want to actually the only one that has the ending that you just want to happen. That happens. So, wow. Very, very good ending. And then also... kind of starting with a portrait of a lady on fire and then kind of ending with this one. I thought, knowing nothing about the movies, I thought that these were going to be very similar, just kind of timepieces, and just kind of, I don't know, similar movies, slow burns and just really cute, romancy. I had no clue what I was getting into, with The Handmaiden whatsoever. And man, it just added, a complete spice that I wasn't expecting. Yeah, and it was awesome.
I love this movie. It's one that and I will say, there's no viewing like the first viewing of this one. It actually isn't one that does get better with repeated viewings. At least it wasn't for me. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a few things that I'm like, oh shit, yeah, because I mean, like, it'd been a solid year since I watched it, so like. Every once in a while, I'd be like, oh, yeah, that's what's about to happen. Like, I'd remember kind of as it was about to occur. And they don't do a ton, but, like, whenever they do the switcheroo and they make Sookie go into the mental institution and Lady Hideko, like, giggles to herself. And they frame it in the moment as like she's a bitch, but what she's doing is laughing at fucking Count Fujiwara over here who thinks shit's sweet.
Yes.
I love it. Yeah. So like,
there's so many layers, and then now, but I wouldn't have known. I had no clue.
No, you were like, wow, Suki's like, she was always a stone cold bitch or whatever she says. She says something like that. I know she says bitch because I always thought that was kind of funny. And then and you're like, wow, she is. And then like it all turns around and you're like, whoa, no, she's not.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Yeah, I don't know, the layers unraveling each time. Each time there was a twist, I thought it was over. I thought it was the last twist of the movie.
Right.
I didn't know that it would keep going. So yeah, it was like, well, I mean, whenever I guess the mental institution twist came, there was still a whole lot of movie left. But I felt like, I don't know, it was just like, well, that's the twist of the movie. Like this is, and then at first I was kind of like, wait a minute. Are they actually different people? Like, is she actually insane? And did she think she was?
Yeah, is that
legitimately
the twist?
Other? Yeah. So I was like, kind of going down different avenues, for a little bit, but no, that I don't know, kind of create like all of every single kind of one of these movies throughout the month. Been a great month, great gay month. Let's just say, I don't know,
super gay, super good.
Oh my god, yeah. As broadening the horizons, gay movies kind of just are it a little bit.
Well, and you think one of the things that occurs to me every time, or like the first time I tried to be like, how many gay movies have I seen? How many gay movies are there really? It's much broader category than you realize. There's a lot of queer film. Like we hit the tip of the iceberg here. We could do a whole another set of 5 next year, complete, and then the year after that, and then the year after that, and then the year after that, and then the year. We could do this ad infinitum with queer films. So like that's why like I'm happy with the 5 I picked. I can't wait to maybe revisit the subject next year.
Yeah.
Or maybe we probably won't even have to wait a year, to be honest. But, you know.
Oh, no. Sex is just kind of, you know, some people, it's weirded out to them. They don't want to go to a movie theater and have that in there. This would be kind of a crazy theater experience.
The communal experience of watching, I mean, what are extremely, extremely graphic sex scenes.
Yeah. They're
spellbindingly beautiful.
This is, oh man, and then just the absolute, like, what is the I mean, I bet that there's something like this going on today. All these men sitting in the room having someone read to them, you know, just these erotic stories.
It was the 1930s.
Yeah, it's their version of OnlyFans. I guess,
porn.
Time,
yeah,
right?
it's the closest thing they're gonna get to porn, aside from like literally watching people fuck.
That's true. Yeah,
so
they had the magazines or the books or whatever, scrolls even at some, you know, like they had everything. And I gotta think, you know, there's been one constant, you know, through all of human history. You know, we've had times of peace. Actually, you know, we fought. You know, it's
right.
But the one constant, we fuck. You know, we be fucking. That's the only thing to keep us going. You know, so it's like I don't think, you know, we're discovering anything new. I think we're doing the same things just over and over again. And yeah, we've been some freaky people just for all of history.
Yeah, people always find a way to make it better for them.
Yeah, you got it. That's true. Yeah, and obviously here, it's not very mutual until the very end. Yeah. But a good way to highlight the sick, you know, the bad that can come from it, and just the sect of you know, like having a collection of porn. Can you ever make it good? Like,
right.
Say you're like the most genuine person at heart, and you had that room of just porn, you know. Say maybe if you spin in the way of like you're just not a sex connoisseur, but just a human history. I don't know. Like, is there a way to spin it?
There is. You know, it all depends on who fucking owns it, and the fact that this guy is the one who owns it makes it bad. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, if you just like it'd be. Don't get me wrong. It would be an interesting collector's item, regardless. You know, but you know, dudes collect Playboy. Like that's a real thing. You know, I think that. The more modern your collection, the less impressive it is. You know, if you're you know, busty ladies all around, like, you know, like the VHSs and DVDs.
I got a hard drive.
Like, I don't know how I feel about that. But you know, if you're doing older books like this, you know, maybe there is something. You know, maybe there is something to it. But yeah, no, that's why I'm like, it's clearly within the context of this film. It is a negative thing. Especially, I think it all depends on who owns it.
So this was her entire life. Like Lady Hideko was brought up from childhood to eventually marry her uncle and also just provide a reading for these erotic books to these men. Like, that's how she's so wealthy, and that's how, like, that's what she's just been doing her whole life. And
yeah, I guess, like, so.
I guess. And I don't know how, you know, hard they're going there, of like, if this actually occurred back in the day, like if they're taking advantage of women like this, you know, and just kind of putting them in these positions, because
it does feel like a very specific scenario.
I guess the aunt that hung herself on the tree, it felt like it was like a cyclic nature, you know, like she got out of it, you know, like she took kind of her own way out and wasn't going to be a part of this cycle. And I guess I know the one part that I really didn't quite understand or see, I guess it worked for the switcheroo and stuff, but the Korean and Japanese kind of going back and forth and wanting to become Japanese or wanting and, like, to marry and all that. That's the, I didn't know if there was some history or some I don't know, some greater thing that I'm unaware of that I can't connect.
I do think that I think that's a pretty culturally specific commentary, one that we're probably not going to be able to parse too incredibly well. Because I mean, like, there's a lot of lines. Like, there's a line at some point in the movie where they say something about how Korea is ugly and Japan is beautiful, and but to Koreans, Japan is or like some Japanese people believe Korea is beautiful and Japan is ugly, and all this. And I'm sure that is speaking to people in Korea and Japan, and they could say something a lot more meaningful about it than I could. Because
I guess it's like it's like do you just want to feel American or not? It's not like do I want to go marry someone in Mexico and become Mexican, sort of a thing. That's not like a normal sort of route that is I don't know, explored. So, but I guess I could see the I know just over in Asia, like, just a lot of just cultures are based on respect and just kind of, I don't know, all of the, just the, I guess back in this time, the men were very hard working, women, like, actually having restrictions over women's births and stuff like that. Like, there's things that just, I feel like that I'm not too knowledgeable on how each country, like, or all of the rules during this time. So I guess it's not that important to the movie, I don't think. Like, it's much more, I think, focused on just
and that's what's
sexual
interesting too, is that I'm sure it could add a whole other layer if I was overly familiar with it. But I'm not, and it doesn't take away from the movie that I'm not, though. That's one of those things that I think is really, really cool. I do think that while there is a lot of culturally specific commentary, there's still there's a ton of universality to it, regardless of where you're from. In a semi-modern world, women have been oppressed and they've been taken advantage of by men, and that's kind of what the whole movie is. And that's why, like, it is, when it comes to the easy comparison in this stretch of movies that we covered this month, is obviously Portrait of a Lady on Fire. It's the only other sapphic film we covered. Yes. And they do play with similar themes, and I think that one thing I pointed to whenever we talked about Portrait of a Lady on Fire was that was directed by a woman, and this is directed by a cis straight man. And I think that there's interesting approaches to telling a love story in either context. And I think that I don't think that this movie strictly suffers for it, but I do think that the romance ultimately is almost dulled by comparison to Portrait of a Lady on Fire. Like, whenever you're holding it up to that, you're like, oh, this one's just not as good. It's not as well thought out. It's not as slow. It's not as slow. It's not as there's not as much longing. There's just kind of a wait, let's do this.
You just kind of accept it because it just has to happen for the
It's
movie.
the premise of the movie. But, you know that it's going to be a queer film, especially in the context of the month that we're discussing, and you go, okay, well, these two are obviously who we're going to hook up.
Portrait of a Lady on Fire, though, it's like it's natural, it's warm, it's gentle, it's like it feels right, and it feels like, I don't know, slowly just over time enveloping. But here, I mean, they like the shot that you chose for the graphic, at least, that's here, like that moment in the bathtub of like grinding the tooth to be smooth. Like at first, when I don't know of the trickery that's really going on quite yet, of everything, this was a very sweet moment, or like I was like,
even in spite of the trickery that's going on, it's a really sweet moment. Because one thing that is really, really cool, regardless of the trickery, is that they do genuinely fall for each other. They are both supposed to be fucking each other over, and then at some point they decide, oh, never mind. That is not what we're going to do anymore.
Oh, wait. There's a common denominator here, and we can get rid of it.
We can fuck that guy up.
It's like, come on. Let's, easy money. But, but not knowing, I guess, at this point in the movie, I'm only thinking, Sookie is doing the trickery, and Lady is all none the wiser. She's the one that's naive, whatever. But I'm thinking, like, oh wait, like actually maybe the plan's gonna go away. Like maybe like this ploy, this con is it's gonna fall apart because they're actually falling in love here. And so like I was feeling I guess what I'm supposed to do. It's like I got their romance and it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm not. Yeah, that's why I'm not saying that this is a bad movie by any stretch, or that the romance is bad. It's just that like, in the context of what we've covered this month, when we cover a romance movie as exceedingly great as Portrait of a Lady on Fire, it is going to suffer by comparison, which is crazy because this is an exceptionally good movie. I think it's gorgeous to look at. That's something that Park Chan-wook will always deliver on, is a visual sensibility that just blows you away. He also did Decision to Leave, which I included in my 20s top 100 or top 100 of the 20s so far. I had it at like close to the top 10, if not top 10. So that's definitely worth your time also. And then another movie that you've almost certainly heard of, and if you can avoid ever looking anything into because it's also a twisty turny sort of like holy shit, is Old Boy.
Okay.
And I told you about it a while ago. It has like the original hallway fight scene, hallway oneer.
This is where it originated. Okay.
Yeah, like as far as what the modern take on like the Daredevil and all that stuff, like that's where that is where its roots are. Is Old Boy. Old Boy. And it has the most insane fucking twist I've ever seen in my life, as far as just making you go, oh no, no. Yeah, and like not like a whoa, that was sick. No, it's gonna go, no, that was sick.
Yeah, he does seem to have kind of a I don't know, to write something like this. You gotta
he's got a little going on. I would say there's a little going on there. Yeah,
tentacle. I don't know.
Tentacle stuff is weird. Don't love that. But everyone's into what they're into.
Yeah, I thought it was enough just being the dudes being creepy and all erotic or whatever. I didn't know there was gonna be a live like I don't know, or like.
Well, I do think that's where he's getting the ink for his pen.
Yeah, it's just kind of the lore around that guy, is so his dick is mangled or whatever, right? Like, I'm assuming because the last line, there are like, is that what he says? At least I'll die with my dick intact. At least I'll die with. Is that what he said? I'm pretty sure. Like,
yeah. Well, that's because he's cutting off stuff one by one.
At least I'll die with my. Oh.
The Count was going to get to a point where he cut off his dick. He has like jars full of like, he's got like labia in a jar and someone's dick in a jar on the wall. Like there's.
Okay. I guess I was taking it another step. I thought he was so obsessed with like sex, and he had this obsession because he couldn't actually do it himself because his dick is like fucked up or something like that.
I don't think that you're on the wrong track in any real capacity. That's one thing that that is really interesting about the way the uncle, what is it, Kuzuko?
I think so.
Wields his power. Is it's never overtly first-hand sexual, which is.
Yeah, it's just
very interesting. It's a very interesting light to paint your, antagonist in, because he still wields the power in the same way a man who would do that. Like he wields it in the same way that a rapist would, but he does not ever actually take that step, which is fascinating. And not that I'm like, I wish that they would have. No, I mean, it's just it is just interesting to have cut it short of that. Like it almost does indicate a certain incapability on his part because it feels like something he would do.
Like the scene where I think it was the aunt and Lady Hideko reading, and Hideko was just kind of reading way too fast, or she wasn't pausing between the words or whatever, and then he stood up and blah, you can't do that or whatever. Or no, I think this is actually a different session. He gets up and kind of just grabs both of them by the face and just kind of like shakes their face around and just holds it, you know.
Yeah, it's whenever she's teaching her. I can't remember if she's teaching her words and
yes, penis
one of them
and
is
vagina.
Penis and vagina,
Yes,
and they laugh,
right.
they giggle to each other, and then he comes over and does that.
I feel like it's more of just a show of force. He is like,
it's a power thing,
and I am punishing you for acting this way, and you will remember it because of the punishment and because of the pain. And like the metal balls on the fucking fingers. Are you kidding me? Like this is, I don't know, like the just even spanking a child, you know, just hitting a child is crazy. But fucking
that's.
Now, I don't know. So this dude is
he's a sick fuck. He's a sick fuck. That's why, like, it's the payoff at the end of this movie to deal with both of these dudes in one fell swoop is very, very. It's very nice because one of them is expressly a rapist, and that is nice. It's nice to see him killed. That's good stuff. I do like that.
And a bunch of opium, you know, that's cool. Or I guess, was that actually opium that he was smoking at the very end there? Because he says it's actually some
mercury.
Mercury. And is that like what is in is that what like is burned whenever you smoke opium? Or I don't know. I thought he was just gonna. I thought bro was just. I mean, at the absolute peak of an opium high right before he died. But. Yeah, this was the scene down there was crazy because whenever Hideko was taken down there as a child, and all you just hear a noise. You don't even you just see her face and you see her look into the basement, but you don't see what's actually down there. You just hear like the blub, 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 blub of all of the fucking jars, or maybe it's the octopus. I don't know what the noise is, but what I thought. For whatever reason, it was kind of bright down there, and like it was showing a really light bright on her face. I thought it was like a lava pit or like a sacrificial. I don't even know. Like my brain was going wild because whenever he leaves, you know, he's like, and remember the basement, dun dun. You know, and they come back to that often. They're like the basement, and I'm like, what the fuck is in the basement?
What the fuck's going on down there?
What is in the basement? I didn't know if there was some paranormal. You know, twist to the movie. I was going places during this watch. So yeah, you're kind of right when it's like the first watch will be singular. Like there will never be another watch like this because I mean it was crazy. I was going all over the place, and I mean I enjoyed the roller coaster. That's for sure.
It's a lot of fun. Awesome. It's a lot of fun, and you know, there's a lot of payoff. If we don't have as much payoff as we do here, this movie might not be as good. It's one of those movies that kind of necessitates. A happy ending because there's so much that's kind of like Jesus Christ throughout it. You know what I'm saying? Like, at least with Portrait of a Lady on Fire, the movie was like overwhelmingly happy throughout, so you can kind of earn a sad ending. You know, it can kind of be just kind of like, oh, we had this beautiful time and that's that. All right, goodbye. You know, like if you just triple down on sadness, it's gonna be in darkness and despair. It's gonna be a tough watch. You know. But I love the payoff here. It's definitely one of my favorite. I love the shot of them on the boat whenever they like let her hair down and she takes off the mustache and they throw it into the ocean. Like I love it. I love it.
Let's go. What a plan, you know? Like and yeah, like if everything went according to plan at the very beginning, like and I don't know, there was multiple layers, I guess, but it would have just been a poor lady, you know, a rich lady got her all of her wealth stolen, and that's it. That would have been really boring. And then if the man wins in any situation, it's just a boring ending. So it's like, we just got the ending that is the best here. And again, it's like with all of the sad and with all of, I don't know, it is very overwhelmingly depressing, but like while I'm watching it, I have like this weird smile on my like it's like I know there's going to be some triumph. Like I don't know. Like even though I didn't know where the movie was going, it felt like, well, there's going to have to be some win. Right?
It's
like
it's riveting. There's an excitement in every frame, kind of like every scene. They're developing this you don't anticipate the twists and turns strictly, but you can tell there's something more happening that you don't know what it is. Like you're like, something else is going on here. And then they show you what else is going on there. And you're like, yeah, okay, let's go. And that's that makes it a lot of fun. There's and don't get me wrong, it's not all sadness. I would say more darkness. The sadness kind of comes from the allusions to the aunt who hanged herself.
Yes.
That's kind of the only stuff that you're like, man, that's too bad. The payoff to the cherry tree, that, like her soul haunts it, and I love the scene. My favorite scene of the movie might be whenever Hideko goes out there to hang herself, and Suki prevents her from doing it. It's like, here's the deal, I'm doing this, I'm with Fujiwara, I love you, dog, don't do this shit. And she's like, oh shit, you're worried about me. And she's like, yeah. She's like, I'm worried about you. Wait a second, we can figure something out here. And then she like drops her and curses Fujiwara, and she's like, oh shit, sorry. I love it. And see, like, there's a black comedy about it, there's a sweetness to it. It's a lot of fun, and I think that in a movie as dark as this, to be able to describe it as fun is pretty wild. And I stand by it, though. It's a really fun movie.
Very.
I adore it.
I gotta assume Knives Out took some inspo from this ending. I don't know. It just had the same energy kind of at the end when everything's unraveling. This big onion, glass. It's all about the layers.
Specifically glass onion, I would say, as far as formatting is concerned.
Yes. Just I don't. And I guess maybe it's more of just a movie trope of just kind of twists and turns and an unraveling sort of thing. But it more just kind of the way it just played out. I don't know. It just felt kind of glass oniony a little bit.
And I mean, like, there's, as far as story structure is concerned, it's extremely similar. The whole first act takes you up to near the end. The whole first act takes you up to what will be the last act, And then the second act, it takes you back to the beginning and shows you everything that you need to know going into the last act from a different perspective. And then we get the last act. And that is exactly the same structure as what happens here in Glass Onion. So I can't blame you one bit for making that connection, especially considering, just the twisty-turny nature of it. Obviously, we're not doing a murder mystery strictly. You don't even realize that there's more conspiracy going on, but the levels, the layers of contrivance here, where it's like Count Fujiwara and Suki plot against her, whole first act. Second act, Hideko and Fujiwara plot against Suki, whole second act. By the end of the second act, they're going, wait a second, we're going to plot together and take down Fujiwara. That's the whole third act. And I love that, like, it's formatted in a way that's like, all right, how do we get the teams going? I think it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I don't know, it did, like, the Portrait of a Lady on Fire, since it was such a slow burn, and it just feel good the whole time, I wasn't kind of expecting anything more from the movie. It was just kind of like, this is just it. But with that kind of, this feeling of, it's not that the movie's not just, I don't know, I'm not bad, but it's just, I had this feeling of, like, where is it going? And that like curiosity just got me to think and just kind of be in it more.
Well, yeah,
and
engage
just kind of,
in it a lot deeper. Yeah, no, I'm with you. That's and that is a strength of it. We obviously are pointing out that the sapphic nature of the film makes it very comparable to Portrait of a Lady on Fire, but I do think filmmaking wise and story wise, its better comparison might actually be Queer. By Luca Guadagnino. There's just a little bit that lingering sense of, you're not exactly sure what's going on. You're not, like, it's not exactly like Queer where you go, oh, well, this can't be real. Like, there's stuff in Queer where you're like, is this even actually happening? There's never really that in this. But there's still that lingering sense of, like, what's going on. I think the filmmaking is a little bit more in line with Luca than it is Celine Sciamma.
Yeah, this is set design. I don't know. Like, the camera is full every time.
Yeah.
Like, in just it, like, I think it helps that we're in just a mansion. of a house with, just very extravagant, I don't know. That is kind of the point, to have everything. But I feel like just every shot, like even the long shot down the collection room or down that weird room, or even just the closet full of all of Hideko's just clothes whenever they're going through all the gloves or going through all the everything else.
Yeah, the 4 drawers of gloves stacked on one another.
Unbelievable. Yeah, and just like... And that's
not that one. No, not that one. No, not that one.
And they're all the same. They all look exactly the same too.
She knows what she wants, though. She knows what she wants.
Man, but yeah, I love that this house was just, badass. A combination of Japanese and kind of British architecture, and just, I don't know. The men suck in the movie, but damn, did he kind of build a dope house, I gotta say.
Yeah.
And then just to like be able to change the floor panels or whatever to like have a little pool or have a little bonsai tree. That's really cool. I feel like I gotta have a room like that eventually at some point in my life.
That. Yeah.
So I can reenact the Morpheus and Neo kind of dojo scene as well. I don't know, in my head. That's all I think. Every time I see a dojo or anything like this, it's the only thing that kind of comes up in my head is like, this is where Neo got his first lesson of what the Matrix is. But
is that air you're breathing?
Yes. Yeah. But no, set design, I don't know. I feel like out of every movie, like even Portrait of a Lady on Fire, which is, I don't know, I feel like costume design was better there. It was really good just in the time, but this not as much of a timepiece, kind of playing with time, honestly, a little bit.
There's a really interesting anachronicity to it where you could, if you didn't tell me what decade this is set, I would not be able to tell you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I don't know, there's nothing futuristic.
Again, similar to Queer.
It.
Yeah, Queer was 1950s Mexico, and if you didn't tell me that, I probably wouldn't know it.
That's true. It can be pretty timeless. It does have a definitely a period they're shooting for, but it feels like I don't know, it feels like there is something modern to it for some reason, or something more recent. I don't know what it is exactly, or I don't know. I'm trying to think. Like, I don't know. His lighter is like the only thing I can like think of being just kind of, I don't know. Like whenever he just pulls out to smoke or like just the look that he gives. I like this. I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to point to, but there is this sense of like it's not old timey. It is kind of I don't know, in more modern, and maybe that's just the con that they're doing. That it seems that they're ahead of the game.
I also think that there's a certain idea, even regardless of our understanding, that historically people have always been fascinated with sex. People have always been gay. There's a certain modernity to being able to speak about it that makes it feel more new, you know? Like, so whenever we do have characters who are expressly, you know, exploring their sexuality in ways that do feel more modern, it's a way to kind of remind us that it does go back further than that. And I do think that that's a key element to why this movie does feel like it could be set, I don't know, it could be set in the 90s and you wouldn't be able to tell me different, you know, like,
that's true.
Or just because also a lot of movies don't make use of computers and phones and shit like that anyway, even when they are set now. So like there does come with it a certain timelessness anyway whenever stuff like that happens. And yeah, that's why I think that like there's a degree of like, when are we? You know, we got the soldiers marching through the streets at the beginning of the movie. You know, you get a little bit of a like, okay, well that's what, you know, like what is this? You know, and I appreciate that that's never truly that important. It's just it's another backdrop. Oh
yeah, that's right. She does just come from a town, like a small town at the beginning. All the girls are the kind of pickpockets, whatever their operation they got going on of just getting babies, cleaning them up and selling them. That is wild. I guess a thing that happens though, but then I don't know, it does give like Suki is really interesting in that she does have this kind of pickpocket or con, thief mindset, but then is so like motherly as well. Or you're like this is like, I wish I had milk to feed you, or like I would do anything for a baby or anything. And I think it's the line, like what her mother said before she was hung, or what she was told that her mother said. The only kind of line of the movie that I think is, Suki just grabs Hideko's face and just deep in the eyes, telling her, no baby's ever guilty of being born. If your mother thought you could understand this, this is what she would have said, that she's so lucky to have you before dying and that she had no regrets. And like, that was like just the moment. I love the way that looked too, that walk they took, specifically the shot where it pulled back and Suki kind of went off the bridge and Hideko was just kind of continuing on the bridge, or I don't know. There was just really, really pretty whenever they went out in nature and were walking. But I like that. If I were to pick a favorite scene, I don't know, picking a scene is kind of tough, of like when the movie got like or just the crux, because I feel like there's multiple crux, like each switcheroo was kind of its own kind of crux and kind of a good moment. But I think this kind of moment of this line delivery and this moment they had during the walk was, I don't know, I really liked it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And that's what, again, I hate to keep bringing it back to comparing it to Portrait of a Lady on Fire, because it kind of gives you that guy who's only seen Boss Baby energy. I don't know if you know that meme.
I'm not aware of this one, but I guess
it's just a meme where it's like guy who's only seen Boss Baby watching another movie. This is kind of giving me Boss Baby vibes. So like Portrait of a Lady on Fire is not the only other sapphic movie I've watched. True. It's just the one we also covered. I want to make that clear.
It is also a lady who is very sheltered and can't leave her house and knows nothing of the world and has someone else who comes into the world that knows the world more. And so, I mean, there are very, very similar things going on.
They have they have a family member from their past who committed suicide and kind of left them with their fate.
Damn. Yeah.
No, there's more than enough reason to compare the movies. I'm not trying to not justify, but that regardless, what I'm getting at here is that it doesn't feel like the buildup of their romance is as romantic as Portrait of a Lady on Fire. It almost feels like, in a really, really interesting, compelling way, it almost feels entirely based on sexuality.
Oh yeah.
And I think that in a movie that does place an emphasis so deeply on sexuality and the exploration of sexuality, I don't think that that's necessarily, it's not a negative thing. It's definitely not a negative thing. But I do think it's interesting that sex in Portrait of a Lady on Fire came as a result of the building up of their love, whereas I think sex directly correlates with the kind of fruition of their love in this movie.
This is what made them know. This is like, it kind of was like, oh, wait a minute. Like, this is actually what I want instead of what I'm supposed to do, in air quotes and everything. And yeah, I think it kind of goes to show that their lust isn't all bad. It is very, very bad if you're doing it in, the man's way of the movie and taking it to their degree and going over it that much. But lust, as long as there is love with it, I feel like you got to combine the both. That's a great combination,
or at least there. Respect. That's why I think that they do explore a lot of like when it comes to Fujiwara showing up, like, to talk to Hideko about their version of the plan. And him being like, so originally this is what I was going to do, but then I realized that making it look like like you fell in love with a man would be, and she goes, impossible. And he goes, yeah, impossible. Like, so I think it's funny that he's like, he's picking up what she's putting down hard, he's like, yeah, you're gay, aren't you? And I think it's funny that he's got like no issue with that. He's just like, let's go ahead and figure this thing out, I like that's why I really do appreciate just the sort again, just the vibe of this movie is impeccable. I think that the visual sensibility is astonishing. Whenever it needs to be vibrant, it's fucking gorgeous. Like you said, out those walks in nature, the greenery is gorgeous. The drive up and how the sky was like all those pretty colors. I love that. Whenever it's like hazy on the water, adore the way that looks. The decadence of the interiors. It's all gauche and ridiculous, and it's bigger and bigger than you can imagine, and it's wonderful. The snake at the doorway.
Yeah,
I love that.
What is that? I guess finally was broken, or like I love whenever they just finally got to destroy all that shit in there, shove it in the water, throw all the red. But then I don't know. The snake is the barrier of all knowledge, or whatever the fuck was said at the beginning, and then I don't know. I don't know.
I'm gonna go with my interpretation of it. I think that there's since it is like this library of sexual carnal knowledge, I do think that the snake kind of represents phallus, like my like a dick is the sort of barrier you have to overcome to understand all of this, really. Like it's more patriarchal thinking. At least that's kind of how I take it. It's the only way that I can spin it that makes sense in my head.
It felt, at least when when it's destroyed, it felt like it was kind of a curse being broken, or just at least that just I don't know, something being lifted. It's gone. The presence isn't there anymore. But yeah, I guess the weird. I mean, there's a biblical
that's interpretation there too. The serpent tempts Eve into betraying God. And
this is fair. The serpent being very
eating from the tree of knowledge, and like it is a symbol of temptation, and especially when it comes to women, kind of literally leading a woman to disobedience and sin and all of this. So I think there is kind of I think that there's something there, and then smashing it, kind of going, well, fuck all that, like I like that.
Yeah, that was a very, very satisfying scene there. And yeah, it is I think maybe just more, like, it does deal with just lust in kind of all throughout. And I think more it is kind of just the good and the bad of it, that it is like whenever it is just the girls and kind of exploring, and it does seem very lustful, and maybe there isn't so much romance there. Like on either side, they're both lying to each other and they're both there for the wrong reasons, but they're, I don't know, just this simple act of them in bed together, exploring and just like doing things. They're like, oh, wait a minute, hold on, like there's actually something real here. Like so it's like the debate of like, I don't know. Recently, I don't know why it's been coming back in circulation, the Kendrick line in Poetic Justice of, if a flower is grown in a dark room, would you trust it, sort of a thing, where it's like if things start with bad conditions or not exactly the ideal conditions, is it still good? But it's like, I don't know, if you're born evil, whatever. No, I think it's just whatever, you have to actively stay evil or keep making those decisions, or the bad decisions. But in this moment, they're both lying to each other, they're on the wrong paths, but then simply sex breaks all of that. Those barriers are gone, and they're just kind of like together, and kind of, I don't know, they both realize, wait a minute, there's a better plan that we can have. I don't know. So it's like there's good and bad things that can come from it. Obviously, the man side of oppression and just abusing
power
women
wielding
for it. Yeah. And and even Kazuki being like, and most women studies show, that it's actually better to be taken by force, whatever, and stuff like that. So it's like,
and that was Fujiwara, by the way. That was the Count.
And that was the Ish. Yeah, okay. That's oh wait, no, okay,
right.
I thought I got him flipped in my. Let's see, when. I think that was their. Was it their wedding night? No, because no.
It's when they're in the hotel, right? Like they're on the run.
Okay. Yeah. Oh no. Yeah, because wedding night was with a knife.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did she actually finish with? Did she use the knife, or was it more of just like the end to get the blood spot?
No, it was just the
there,
end. She didn't use the knife.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, because if it used the whole time, that's like holy fuck. Like that's
precision. That's precision work right there. Yeah. No, I don't.
Yes. Impressive.
Most impressive. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
That is not what's happening. She's definitely just. I like that she's like. Well, and that's another fun way to like go about it too, because on the other side of the wall there, Suki knows what is genuine. Like Suki would know what's real and what's fake. And
she has to actually really moan.
She actually has to come.
Really
she actually has to do it.
If it was the man, fuck.
Yeah.
And how badass. Like he just has to sit right there and watch her finish. Watch her please her. Like he's like, oh, all right. Well, I guess can't really do much here. And but oh man, yeah. So it was nice. So like the sex is. Like, in no way is it, like, as beautiful or tasteful as, like, Portrait of a Lady on Fire, but it's, like, playing to the same thing. It's like like, I don't need you, like, or, like, a sort of thing. Like, the power play is always, with the men and, like, power, but this was very much, I don't know, Lady Hideko had the power in this scene, here. So, sex is, I don't know, it is this weird thing to look at whenever you look at it historically, like throughout time, that it is like in our lifetime, gay marriage was made legal. That's a crazy thing to say when gay love or just love has been around for however long humans have been around.
Centuries.
So like, and we just now made it legal because we said so. I don't know. And like, so it's crazy that all the just turns that love goes through in history.
Well, it's fascinating. Even just beyond romance and sexuality, just literal physicality. Like whenever it's bizarre. Whenever they said like whenever I looked it up and it was like 1930s. It's weird to think that like people in the 1930s got naked and shit. Like I can't even like I don't know. Like of course they did. Obviously they did. That's something that happened. Like it's always happened.
Yeah.
But like I don't know. It's such a weird buttoned up, especially when it comes to America. Like concerned with America. Like when it comes to the 1950s, like the uber conservative. Suit and tie. Like honey, I'll be home after work. Make sure you have dinner on the table for me.
Even those people
had sex. Like that's weird.
There's the crazier people though that are always there. The people who built the pyramids were getting down in dirt. Everyone.
See, that's what's funny is that makes more sense to me.
Yeah, no less rules, less like less
I'm like
societal structure. I don't know.
And that's what's fascinating is the progression and regression of society in sexuality and exploration. Like it's really, really interesting to kind of consider that, there was a time in the time of I don't know, the fucking Crusades, like Catholicism, they were fucking
every time. Everyone fucking. No matter where you go, it's either really bad fucking or, like it just, there's really, really bad cases of it and really just, but the normal sense of we're just some freaks.
People be fucking,
forever.
Dude. It's crazy.
It's in our DNA. It is literally in our DNA.
Yeah, it's coded in. Yeah. No, and that's why, like, this movie, I think that it deals with sexuality in a really interesting and compelling way. I do think that it, and I mean literal physical sexuality, not necessarily orientation. But I don't know. I think that twists and turns, it's as compelling a movie to watch on the first time as any. It's extremely exciting. You never know where it's gonna go, and then whenever we get there, it's like fuck yes, let's go. Yeah. Like I said, of the 5 movies we covered here, it's the only one with a truly happy ending. Moonlight has close to a happy ending.
It's what you make of it, I guess.
Yeah, it's what you make of it for sure. But like
this one is for sure. Like
this is a happy. They end up together. Yeah, they ride off into the sunset. Beautiful. I love it. Great.
Oh, yeah. Jingle bells? Come on, dude.
Come on.
Like I can't fathom. I don't know of another time in any movie where, at first they're used for punishment, metal balls hit the hands. I'm like, oh my God, what a brutal thing. But I would be lying if I did not say, think, whenever they were being used as a punishment tool, I said, well, those can be used for one other thing, I'm like in my head. So, and then when it came back around, for them actually taking the power back and just
reclaiming them. Yeah.
Whoa. That was epic. I don't know. The scenes were very graphic, but very, just hot, I don't know. They were tasteful I'm
too,
very, I'm jealous of the female sex. I will say this is I don't know. Maybe this is just my male brain thinking, but just on an objective, I think level, as all sex goes, I think a female on female sex is the most romantic it can get, or the most if think of it as a play or performance sort of thing, and just the positions and things that two females can do. I don't know why it feels like more of a dance and or beautiful performance that can be put on for whatever reason. And it's I don't know why. It just feels like better.
I get what you mean.
It's just it feels more, I guess, anytime a man is introduced, it can be gentle and romantic and whatever, but it just feels more
doubt,
brutal.
But there's an inherently oafish quality about dudes having sex.
Yeah. And I mean, hey, and nothing wrong. I just want to say that maybe just in media, or maybe just, I don't know, it is just my male brain maybe thinking there too. But it is just the female
it's
nature.
Also, when it comes to the depictions of sex in movies, whether it is gay sex between two men or two women, or it is heterosexual sex between a man and a woman, there is sort of there's a gruffness to sounds and imagery that whenever it comes to dudes, it's like there's an even when it is soft and intimate and loving and not like yeah, you like that, it's not even when it's not like that and it is more intimate and soft, there's a lot of oafishness. It's just kind of it's the word I keep coming back to. It's just kind of like
maybe it's like if sex is done right, it is purely mutual. But scissoring is like purely mutual. I can't think of
it's
more
about as
mutual,
equal partnership.
Yes.
I mean, 69ing is pretty equal partnership.
That's true. That is, I guess, fair. But I don't know. Yeah. Yes.
I mean, they pull that off in this too, though. So that's true.
They got both. That's what I'm saying. Is that it's like maybe that's what it is. It feels the most equal you can get. I don't know why. Right. It just, but for some reason.
Like physically, we're on literally equal playing fields.
Yeah.
They're
this. I mean, hey, it was hot. I will say, like this. It like there were some creepy, moments where I don't want to think about sex at all in the movie, but then they did bring it back, and I'm like, ooh. Okay. It's getting toasty in here.
This is a really incredible. This is a pretty impressive sex scene, and they are. It's what like to the point where you're going to the point where you're like, how do you do this? How do you pull this off?
How do you not just scissor each other? Like, how are they not actually just?
Well, I also don't know that I've ever seen an angle of forgive my candor eating pussy quite like this.
I mean,
like it
boom.
is.
She's looking directly at the.
I mean, even if there's even if there's like a layer of protection there, it's like right there, bro.
Yeah,
there. I hope there was an intimacy coordinator on set. Like this is down and dirty.
Say while they're scissoring, say there is something just between their vaginas. That is it. That is the only thing that could be there. Like and they're still doing the motion. I feel like exactly. Motion, so it's like I mean, it's gotta be something. I mean, I did read in
I'm curious about the
trivia. Yeah, it did say that they kind of made everyone leave, and there were only female people on set.
Sick.
So they took, for it to be completely private, they said only one female crew member holding the boom microphone was present, and everyone else was gone. So I guess it was, only 3 people. So that's kind of nice. A controlled camera. No visitors were even allowed near set. All male crew members had the day off. That's kind of funny. It's like, hey guys, take the day off. The girls are gonna have some sex.
Fuck out of here.
Yeah. So the ladies are gonna fuck today, and you guys, sorry.
Another interesting piece of trivia: Kim Tae-ri Suki was her first film role. And she was selected from approximately 1,500 applicants.
What? Damn. That's, I guess, yeah.
Auditions take a little bit.
That's insane to think about. I mean, because like in Hollywood, everyone is just auditioning.
Park Chan-wook decided to cast her within like 10 to 15 minutes. Like saw that many people and then saw her and was like, yeah, that's the one.
That's crazy. I guess a director just knows what they want. I don't know. Like they know the story. If they know the story well enough, it's just once you see it, you got it, I guess. And that's cool to be out of 1,500 people to be like, you're the one. That I don't know. That's pretty cool to hear.
That is pretty cool.
And yeah, just, man, to think about, like every movie that is made, there are people begging for like a role or like like people auditioning and just like, please get me in this movie. Not saying that, more professionally and being like my agent, do the thing. But like that is crazy to think that 1,500 people signed up to maybe be in this movie, and then there's 10 people that are in it, and then actually only 4 that are very present, and then it's like, that's, I don't know, it's just wild. It's like I don't know, just NBA. It's the professionals. This is the professional movie league, the big screen. I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's just all the same thing. But man, that they got, I don't know, they talent wise, like I performance, I feel like I didn't know if I wanted to go with like the stoic kind of like hiding everything that Lady Hideko gave from Kim Min-hee. She, I don't know, was very stoic at first and then had that slow change, which I thought was cool. But I think that Suki just kind of, as far as character and performance for me, just kind of, I don't know, I liked the most. So I think I kind of wanted to give her the double nod, but I wanted to spread the love as much as I could. So I didn't know kind of who to go for who. But
right, yeah, no, I'm with you. Whatever you do, I'll do the opposite because I'm cool with both of them. I really love Kim Min-hee's performance of Lady Hideko. I do think that the subtlety. My favorite stuff is whenever it brims to the surface, and whenever she starts being most authentically herself, is when you're like, oh shit, yeah, this rules. Like whenever Suki had her shoe stolen. And then she goes outside. She's like, who the fuck stole the shoe? Starts beating the fuck out of everybody. I'm like, okay, like not as a character moment, but as a performance moment. I'm like, yeah, I love this. And character wise, I really, really love Lady Hideko as well. I do think that there's a lot of nuance to her portrayal. I do think that, she presents as a babe in the woods and, she's naive and, Suki kind of can't see that she's not, and then the second she does, she's like, oh shit, yeah, like, wait a second, you're a lot more than I thought. So I could go with either. I could go with either for both. So that's why I'm like, if you want to decide who you want, I'll go with the other.
I guess it's the women that at least is the decision here.
I will give both the dudes some credit, specifically Ha Jung-woo as the Count. Really, really good. I really like him as an actor. Yeah, I mean, obviously they're not the characters of the movie. It would be one of the girls for the character, but
yeah, that's
yeah. No, as far as a performance is concerned, I could even see myself going Ha Jung-woo. He was incredible as the Count. I think that he does a really good job of making everything feel just grotesque when he's on screen,
That's true. He's making me feel what I'm supposed to feel. I don't like it, but yeah, that doesn't mean that it's wrong for the movie. It's what they're going for.
It's exactly right. Yeah.
So yeah, I guess fair enough. I was downplaying the men, just kind of as the movie in the movie, kind of goes. But in real, these are just, I hope good people in real life. I don't know.
Generally, I hope so.
But yeah, so I shouldn't put the character on him, or downplay him. But yeah, I don't know, I keep coming back to like this. I feel like out of every movie, like after watching Gladiator 2, I don't know why, I've been like focusing on set design a lot more whenever I watch a movie. I'm always taken back whenever like the camera's just more full of things, of objects, just props. Stuff. I love props for whatever reason now. To think of like that someone just had to think of like, what am I going to put on this table right here? Because it's 1930 or whatever, and what makes sense to go here during this time? I don't know why. That's just a really cool thing I've been thinking of, I don't know, since Gladiator.
No, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and this, I don't know, there was always just stuff everywhere. It was full, and it was just very, what's the word? Just satisfying for my, just very appeasing to my brain. I don't know, very, there's a better stimulating. There you go. Is what I was looking for. It was very stimulating the whole time. I don't know, for me. So I really love the set design for this, and I think it just adds to any movie. If the set design is good, it just adds this like authenticity to it, where you don't
absolutely
even
does.
question
It absolutely
things.
does.
Yeah.
And I think that whenever you're doing a period piece, it is extremely important to have that sort of immersive experience. And what's cool too is that you pointed out Gladiator 2 and Gladiator, the first one in the first place. Sure. But like Star Wars, that was always something that I'd always had a really strong sense of, was immersiveness. You look at every inch of a frame and it's full of stuff that you're like, whoa, what's that? And I think that any movie that can take advantage of that is doing something right. And I think you're right. I think this one does that to a really, really great degree. But I don't really have much else to say about it. I thought it was a lovely movie. I think it's gorgeous to look at.
Yeah, I think a perfect way to round out Pride Month here. I don't know.
I think so too.
Yeah, and a great mix of all different kinds of gay movies here.
Very eclectic. Very eclectic collection here. A lot going on.
Nice. So yeah, this I don't know. Very, very happy with all the movies that we got.
Very gay.
Very gay. Some would say. Yeah, some would say. Top
drawer. I'm very, very happy with it. We did a really great job with picking the movies, I think. And even if you didn't listen to a single podcast, it's just a good slate of movies to watch. Definitely worth going back and checking out the other ones if this is the first one you're diving into. If this is the first one you're diving into, we are also going to do a rating of the movie on a scale of 1 to 10. We're going to summate all of our feelings about this movie into one number on a scale of 1 to 10. Can't wait for that. But first, I'm going to do the plugs, and I'm going to let you know what we've got coming up. Sorry, had something in my throat. For the first time, I'll be announcing that next week, starting next week, we will be covering the Alien franchise here on the Cinementalists. We are doing that in anticipation of Alien Earth, the new series coming in August, which we will be covering on our nerd shit podcast called Geek With Me. So you can go check that out whenever that starts coming up. But we are going to be covering all 7 Alien movies. We are not doing Alien versus Predator or either of those movies. Might save those for whenever we maybe eventually get to the Predator movies. But maybe. I'm not even sure we're ever going to do that. But there is a Predator movie coming out in November. It might not be a bad idea to kind of keep that in the back pocket. Maybe something we do. But regardless, so we are going to be covering Alien next Friday. I hear there's a holiday going on that day. I'm going to completely ignore it.
What? There is?
Wait, what? No way. Couldn't be me celebrating anything like that. We got Alien next Friday. Aliens the week after that. Alien 3, Alien Resurrection, Prometheus, Covenant, and Romulus. We got all of those to look forward to over the next 7 weeks, and I'm very, very excited. We are also doing, like I said, Geek With Me, and as next month is July, we have a couple of expressly outlined films we're going to be covering on our Nerd Shit podcast. Usually, we like to reserve movies for this podcast, but we have a whole other avenue for it now, so Whenever Superman comes out, we'll be covering it on Geek With Me. And whenever Fantastic Four: The First Steps comes out, we'll be covering it on Geek With Me. So that'll be next month. So that's an important place for you to be. You should also be checking out Fire Pod with me, a Twin Peaks podcast. If you are a Twin Peaks fan, it is perfect for you. If you've never seen Twin Peaks, you should watch it and listen along with us. It is friendly to the first-time viewer and the rewatcher alike. Joe's never seen it. I have seen it. The only rule is that you have seen as far up as the episode you are planning on listening to. So I think that this week is Season 2, Episode 11.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken. So you have to have seen up to that point to listen to that episode. But we don't spoil anything that comes after that. So you should share that podcast with anyone who you think should watch Twin Peaks or has watched Twin Peaks, which is everybody. So go ahead and check that out. But yeah, like I said, we'll be back with Alien next week and the weeks following. So I'm very excited for that. Let's go ahead and rate The Handmaiden. How are we feeling on a scale of 1 to 10?
Well, damn. Well, it's nice to know that we didn't even come close to dipping in the 8s the entire time. We are 9 and above the entire month. This one, I love the twists. I love everything going on. I'm thinking, I do like it more than Queer, and that was a 9, which I think that will be the lowest of my ratings for sure. I'm thinking I like it more. That's what I can't decide. If I like it more than I Saw the TV Glow or not. That is tough. They're both very, very, I don't know, not very, the storytelling is very, abstract or not, I don't know.
Right.
I Saw the TV Glow is a little more abstract, I think, but just a lot of things are going on, a lot of good messages being sent,
right,
through crazy storytelling, and I like that it's not just stereotypical film. So I don't know. I think maybe on the same level as like I Saw the TV Glow, but I mean, I'm between a 9.5 and a 9.75 is I guess where I'm chilling.
Gotcha.
And I don't know if I can give it the edge over TV Glow. That's tough.
So that would be a 9.5 then, right?
I think I'm going to have to tie it. I don't think I can give it the edge quite.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think that's this is going to be a really interesting reflection of a first watcher versus a rewatcher. I'm confidently a 9.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting.
I think it's a really, really impressively done movie. I think that it's really, really great as far as filmmaking is concerned. But it doesn't stand up the way I wanted it to. Not completely. I'm not saying that it's a bad movie. Obviously, a 9 out of 10 is a great movie. But I came into this thinking that every movie that I had seen would be a 9.75 or higher. And I'm not there, which was surprising. I thought for sure I would come back and be like, holy. It's a high bar. Don't get me wrong. But that's why I picked the movies I picked, is because I thought that that's what they were. That's the benefit of hindsight, And I'm glad we still picked this one. I'm not trying to be like, my God, this was a waste. No, 9 out of 10 is a great fucking movie.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
But I'm confident that that's where I'm going to land. 9 out of 10.
Okay, that is your lowest, I guess, of all of them. The average is still a 9.25, so it did beat out Queer, barely. Queer was a 9.13, so it's
because it's
still
a 9 and a 9.25.
Yes, so
gotcha.
So it is the second to last overall. But yeah, I think it will be interesting to eventually revisit and see what the second viewing is like, because I think the first one will be the best one for sure of this. But yeah, I don't know, a good 9.25 I think it feels good. At least it's not quite the 9.75 that I Saw the TV Glow got. So I like that it's kind of the opposite, where I gave a 9.5 to both I Saw the TV Glow and Handmaiden, but you gave a 10 to I Saw the TV Glow and a 9 here. So it's like,
for me there was no question which I liked more, which is funny. I like the differentiation in tastes that kind of brims to the surface for us every once in a while. But What's the official ranking as far as what our sum total, our average of our scores ended up being?
So, for just the Handmaiden, or for
the ranking, top to bottom, or bottom to top, I guess we'll go that way.
Bottom was Queer with a 913, and you gave 925, I gave a 9, and then we down to the Handmaiden, a 925, and then it goes to I Saw the TV Glow, 975, and then a two-way tie for first place with Moonlight and Portrait of a Lady on Fire with the perfect 10s. All
right. I like it. I like it a lot. And it was a great month, fantastic month for covering some great movies. And we can't wait to start covering another franchise. We did Mission Impossible just prior to this. We're doing Alien next. I can't wait. And we're doing roughly the same amount of work for Alien as we did Mission Impossible. 7 movies in anticipation of something.
That's true. Yeah,
which is kind of wild. It's a lot. It's a big commitment. It's going to take a while, and I like doing it like that though. So
Ethan Hunt transitioning into a gay month, transitioning into Alien. I mean, I don't know. I think this is a good year.
It's a good year. It's a good stretch here.
We already had a sci-fi month already, so I've already been happy with March. So but then to get a whole month of pure, I don't know, alien sci-fi. Yeah, I'm ready.
Let's fucking cook. Yeah, I'm ready. So if you've never watched the Alien franchise, you should go ahead and tune in, watch with us, watch along, and tune in every week. And if you have seen it, good stuff. Because I've seen all of them. Joe's seen 3 of them. So we got a lot to look forward to. But with that, I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here, homie.
Oh, and it is always a pleasure to have you. And let's see if I can find a quote in time. Fuck it, let's go with this. And remember, reading can be learned, and I don't care if you curse or steal, but don't ever lie to me. Understood?